35 weeks to go, and here we are, out and again, another walk back up the mountains. Yeah, last week I spoke about the importance of putting your phone down and or being more productive. Now, that helped me out massively. Putting my phone down, trying to be more productive, makes a difference, and I hope it helped out. But we'll get into what we're going to get into when we get further up, but we get going and see what we do get into. On our way up, climbing, spoke last week about showing the hard yards and putting the graft in, and it's important to do it to show that. The reason being, you can see the start, you can see the end, you can see the pictures from before the start, you can see the pictures where we are now, and it's kind of what we're going to get into today. But by not showing the hard yards, I don't think it's been true, like I said, to myself or for anybody else. And I mentioned last week on a video that we go through no man's land. We go through the moments where you want to stop, you want to quit, you want to give up, and those are the times where the majority of the time people will stop, people will quit. But keep going, because it does get easier. The closer you get to the end, the closer you get to something, the closer you can see the change, the physical difference. It makes a difference, it makes things easier. And the closer you get to the end, the further along the line you get by taking little steps. It really, really does get easier, and it's the only way you're gonna get there. You're not gonna get there by stopping, by not keep going. So keep moving forward, keep taking the steps, go through the hard yards, run through the wall. No man's land is there to challenge us, but just make it happen. I'm gonna get into today things that helped me, old pictures, looking back at where I was, and I just mentioned there that you can see pictures from before I started, before where I am now, and the difference I see is so rewarding to me, and I feel so proud of myself for doing what I've done. And I'm going to get into it about the pictures, but for now, just keep taking little steps. I just mentioned and spoke about all the pictures and things popping up on my phone, and where I was this time last year, and where I was 2 years ago and 3 years ago, and these things keep pushing me on and driving me. The pictures, the old ones, the daily reminders on my time hop that pop up of where I was years ago, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. The difference I can see, it just keeps pushing me on to not want to go back to putting that weight on again. It's one thing on my list at the start of the year, was not wanting to go back to putting the weight on. Well, I haven't at the moment, touch wood, but the pictures that pop on my time up every day, every reminder of what I don't want to go back to. Now, when you start a journey, start anything, it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in the first week. It's not going to happen in the first month. But when you start seeing a difference and start seeing a change, and you get a year down the line and you can see a difference, you can feel the difference inside you. You feel so much better, so much happier, so much content. It makes a difference. The hard yards at the start, putting them in, are really, really tough. And I spoke about no man's land and making a start, and when you get a quarter of the way into your journey, halfway into your journey, 3/4 of the way into your journey, you're still in no man's land. And this is where we tend to fail, tend to drop off. And I did it for years and years and years until I broke through it. And you have to. And now the pictures that pop up are my gratification and my reward for the hard yards, the hard work I put in over the last year, over the last 18 months. The changes I've made are my reward for wanting to improve myself, wanting to better myself. I spoke last week about putting your phone down, the importance of putting your phone down and or be more productive with it. Now, I did that with a digital book, and you can only move forward by making a start, and it's the same as anything. And This is where the pictures help me. The old pictures that pop up on my phone help me because I can see where I've come from. I personally myself spent years wanting to change, and because it didn't happen in the first week, I knocked it on the head. Give up. This isn't working. This is full of shit. This isn't going to work. I'll try something else. Nothing's going to work in a week. You've got to give it time. I've seen something once before that if you're willing to dedicate 10,000 hours to something, you basically become a professional at it. I don't know if that's true, but I'm sure I've seen a video somewhere on that. And for me, the YouTube is one that when I started, and the videos at the start were cringy now, and I feel more happy and content doing them now. And it's rewarding, but the pictures I get, the pictures that pop on my time up, help me massively. Look at all these flies, they're bloody everywhere. The pictures that pop on my time up help me massively and keep me going. They don't happen there, bloody loads of flies. I had to get away from it, bloody Jesus Christ. Yeah, just to finish off that looking at the older pictures, the pictures popping on my time up, help me, push me forward to not want to go back to what I was, not want to go back to put the weight back on, not want to drop my mindset again from where I was and the negative comments. Oh God, look at this. Look at the views. This is why I love being up here. It's phenomenal. But yeah, anybody, you can do it. Changing your mindset, pushing on. But you're not going to do it in a week. You're not going to do it in a month. You're not going to do it in 2 months. It's going to take time. Things I talk about all the time, little steps will get you to where you want to go. But you've got to be willing to put the hard work in. You've got to be willing to go through the wall. You've got to be willing to go through no man's land. It's really tough, but getting there, honestly, the sense of achievement and reward and gratification. Is it gratification? I don't know. I'm not very good with words, but the sense of accomplishment you get from getting to the end. I'm not at the end of my YouTube. My digital book is the end. That's finished. That's out for sale. Did I ever think I could do it? No, but I have. But just keep going. The little steps. Your pictures will pop up in a year's time, and look how far you've come. Look how good you'll feel. And a year sounds a long way away. I thought that when I did my year countdown to Everest. We're 35 weeks to go now, and that's coming down fast. And time does go so fast, but you can fill the time with challenging yourself to get to the rewards you want to get to. And like I said, things that help me, the pictures, looking back at them, they stop me slipping back, because I ain't going back to what I was. I refuse to. And it's these things that we have as memories. I spoke before on a series about memories, and that's one of them. But yeah, keep going. Pictures as well, obviously massively important, because if you don't take them, you haven't got them to look back on. On our way back down, I was crazy there. If it's not cows one week, it's bloody flies another week I was getting attacked by there. There was loads of them. I couldn't get away from them. But yeah, we're on our way back, and again, this series is about what helps me, and old pictures, photos, or however you want a classic. People use different words, and one of the boys has a go at me every time I use picture or photo. I can't remember which way around we do it, but yeah, so they're so important. When you can only lean on them when you get to where you want to go. Does that make sense? So when you've changed what you want to change, and I'm not saying about losing weight, but when you can see the difference in you, the pictures to lean on then make a difference. To do for me, and my obvious pictures of the weight loss, and I put transformation pictures in here. If you haven't already seen them and you're not aware of what I'm talking about, is I lost 5 stone, and this picture's here, difference in me. And these pictures, these kind of pictures, oh, look at that down there. Look. See the way I look up here, peaceful, quiet, and it's just the moments. Look, I can't explain. It's phenomenal. If you stood here views like this that is the reason maybe want to go to Everest, and it's just breathtaking. It's phenomenal. Again, imagine these now popping up in a year's time. If I'm having a shit time or a moment in a year's time and I'm struggling with something, and these pop up on my time up, the memories, the pictures of what I was doing, it just all of a sudden makes you think, yeah, I don't need to be in this shit, because I got myself out of it once, twice, 3 times. I get myself out again, and you can do it. But this is why I love taking pictures for memories anyway. But when they put back up in a year's time on your time up and things like that, and you realise how far you've come, they become even more important, and they help me massively. And my pictures from a year's time, a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, help me massively, and it pushes me on to want to go further, to better myself even more. And they really do. But if you don't take them, there's a couple of things. If you don't take pictures, you haven't got them to lean back on. But if you don't make a start on looking at maybe wanting to change something, you're not going to have the pictures to lean on. And there'll be people watching this thinking, I don't need to change anything. And that's fantastic. You probably don't. You're probably right. You don't need to, which is fantastic. Your mindset there is fantastic. But I'm always willing to push myself on. I'm always willing to learn something new. I'm always willing to develop something different. I'm already looking at what I can do for next year, what challenges I can set myself from January to have a go at, like I did this year. 5 things on the list at the start of this year. Let's see what I can get on the list for next year to have a go there. But pictures help massively, so keep taking them, guys, and things, and listen to that. Amazing. I find it amazing. It's just so peaceful. But yeah, pictures, photos, whichever one they are, keep taking them. They help. We're back. It's been another warm one today. It's really warm. I like to get out early when it's just warm. I don't want to be up there when it's boiling hot. But yeah, today's video is about pictures, looking back at pictures and looking back at things that where you were a year ago, and mentioned that people are going to think, well, I look back and I don't need to improve anything or changing. That's fantastic. If nothing needs changing, that's fantastic, brilliant. But you're in the perfect position, and I envy you. I like to try and push myself and learn every day something that I may be not doing right, or maybe failing. I don't know, but I like to try and do what I can to make sure I'm moving forward. And the pictures help me. And I said there that I'm not. I refuse to go back to what I was. I refuse to go back to the weight I was. And the transformation pictures I put in, the one of me by myself was from exactly a year ago, and then the one with me and Paul was a year apart. Isle of Wight this year and Isle of Wight last year. And when you actually see them pop up, you realise that you put the graft in, you put the hard yards in, and it's what I spoke about. And I speak about it a lot, about the importance of little steps, because I keep saying it, and they are so important for every element of what you're trying to do, of where you're trying to go. Because I did this for years, something I did for years, so it's not what we're all trying to do, something I did for years. I never used to want to take little steps. I used to want to take giant steps and think, well, why is this not working? Well, it's only been a week, so it's not going to work. You've got to give it longer. You're not going to change something in a week. You're going to do it in 2 weeks. It can take 3 months. It can take 6 months. It can take a year. It can take 18 months. But if you're not willing to have a go, and things do become easier, because if you are willing to have a go and spend the time doing it, all of a sudden when you're a year down the line and your old pictures pop up of where you were, actually gives you a real boost to push on, to go even further and go even harder. And it's what helps me. They help me massively, and it's something that again, talking about what helps me, they do. And I look back at those pictures with Paul, for argument's sake, and God, what that boy's been through within a year is, as I mentioned in the last few weeks, is phenomenal. And to see him there in that second photo from this year was amazing, because he had the injury and we didn't think they weren't going, but to see him there, and that'll be a memory to pop up on Paul's phone now, a year down the line, to see that he got over the head injury and he got over it and he's recovering, and it'll be some gratification for him to have. And pictures, photos, whichever way you want to word them, because I know people like to do them differently, they work for me. It works for me. It pushes me on. It gives me a boost. And to see, look where I come from last year with a thought in my mind that this time last year I was starting to regret not doing a Christmas book again for about the 4th or 5th year in a row. Oh, I've wasted time again. I haven't done it again. Christmas book is something I've wanted to do for years and years and years and never got around to doing it. And then this time of year, I'm normally getting there thinking, I've wasted time again. Am I going to be able to do it now? No, I've not got time. I won't bother with that. So I stopped. But I started this year and then put the hard yards in. And I had times that started through that I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what to do. I'll just stop. But then me last year would have quit and knocked that on the head, especially after the mugging in Benidorm as well. But the true reflection is that you're not going to get anything by quitting. You're not going to get anything by stopping. If you've started something, that's the hardest part. Starting something is so tough. When you get through it and you hit a wall and you're in no man's land, it's really, really tough to keep going. And this is where I used to fail. This is where I used to quit. This isn't working. That's not working. It's not happening. But because I changed the mindset last year on things, I pushed through and I've managed to get it finished and done. And I'm so proud of myself for doing it. I never thought I would. And I never doubted myself that I'm not going to be able to do it now. That's done and will be there ongoing for people to be able to buy. I don't have to do anything with it now. It's there. It's on sale. And last week I spoke about using your phone to be more productive, or putting your phone down and doing things. But I use my phone to do a digital cookbook. I use my phone for YouTube. The pictures pop up from last year, the thoughts in my head from last year that I hadn't done this, the pictures where I was last year, and I look now where I am, and these give me a boost to, one, not go back to the size I was, not go back to the shitty mindset I used to have, but to push me on, to spur me on, with the thought in my mind that I'm now only 35 weeks away from going to Everest Base Camp, which is going to come around faster than I realise. And I will sit down and start next year with a new list, and I'm not going to do it now because we're still 5 months away. I don't know where I'll be or what avenues we'll be exploring. As I said a couple of weeks ago, one avenue I want to look at exploring is doing walk and talks. If anybody wants to come out and have a chat and about anything random, you can ask me questions about, have I done this, have I lived that? If I have, I'll quite happily talk about it. You can ask me challenging questions. If I can answer them, I'll answer them. If I can't, I'll be honest and say, well, no, I don't really know. I don't know. But all I ever do when somebody asks me something that might be challenging or something is lean on what I've lived through, what I've been through. And if that's something that potentially could help others, fantastic. But yeah, so that's episode 4. The other thing, the link for the cookbook is in the description, so if you want to go and have a look. But episode 4, series 2, I just, it's crazy. I never envisaged this. I didn't know what I envisaged at the start. I didn't know where I was going with it, but what the plan was with YouTube. And you talk to people and you get out and about and you start talking, and film me when you're on a walk, and all of a sudden you're, what are we, 6 months in, and I'm doing a YouTube channel. That's crazy. Not something this time last year I would have thought, not something December 23rd I would have thought of. It wasn't until December 24th when Lee had a conversation with me that he kind of planted a seed in my head, and now we're in July doing one. So yeah. But yeah, I appreciate the support, people watching, commenting. It really, really does mean a lot, and I do appreciate it. But I will see you next week on episode 5. Thank you, guys.